All right, this is my first time, but welcome, lichens and gentlemen. Today we're here with the Infinite Ammo Syndicate podcast for a special on on the Resident Evil 8 demo, as well as the showcase that was shown about what, maybe
I will
a couple
say
days ago,
it was a day
Yeah.
ago, just one day.
a day ago. Yeah, all
Yeah.
right. But I'm your first time host. Yay me. This is me, Dirty Dan, and I'm joined by a wonderful panel of people that'll go by in order of the alphabet. So, Agatha, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Agatha. The name starts with the letter A. Uh, I'm a Twitch streamer and I stream Zelda games and Resident Evil games back and forth. Some makeup, a little sprinkle of cosplay. I am newer to the community, but I'm diving in head first, so I don't know much, but I absolutely love it. I don't care. And yeah, I'm on Twitch, so my handle is or my my page is twitch.tv/Agatha with three A's at the front for AAA content. That is AAAGATHA. Moving on from my douchebag plug.
Just
Who's
gotta
next?
scream it out. Just gotta
Get
scream
it
it
in
out.
early. Getting it early.
Yeah.
All right, nice. So, Black Shadow,
Yep.
introduce yourself.
Evening all. Yeah, Blackshot here from YouTube and Twitch. It's only 19 days now until the release of Resident Evil Village, and thousands of gamers get to live out their fulfilled fantasies of being stood on by a really tall woman. I'm not going to.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
He's just a meme.
Thank you, Capcom, for corrupting the innocent souls of youth.
Oh,
Oh, Jesus.
joy.
End sarcasm.
That's wonderful. All right, we got a new person here joining us, Desmond Flicks. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, how's it going? I'm Desmond. I have a YouTube channel called Desmond's Flicks, and I review horror films, both new and old, as well as cult films, and I am a huge Resident Evil fan.
Nice, nice. All right, Deva, why don't you go ahead?
All right, how's it going, guys? My name is Hey Deva, not Devu or Diva. I primarily am in the YouTube space. You can find me there at Hey Deva, HeyDevuh. I do primarily post Resident Evil content. I am going to be deviating a little bit more in different other horror themed media. Other than that, I mean, I'm excited to be here. Can't wait to talk more about the demo.
All right, nice, nice. All right, another new person here joining us. We got with like the best Discord name, menstruating cheeses. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Kiki. I'm a comedian. I'm a host of Daddy Home Podcast on Spotify. And I'm also a Twitch streamer. If you want to check me out, I'm Trash Queen. And I'm also 8 feet tall and I drink blood if anybody wants to check me out.
Oh my gosh.
No,
Yeah.
Well,
we should check that
you're
out.
probably in
No.
good company.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me, though. I'm a huge Resident Evil fan and I'm
Of
really
course.
looking forward to everything. So,
All right, now it's time for the man, the myth, and the legend himself, Renegade Operative. It's your
Hello.
turn, my man.
Hello. I am extremely tired, but I'm gonna manage and see if I can get some mojo going on this podcast, talking about all the stuff with the Resident Evil demo. So let's get into it.
All right, let's do it.
So we got the first question. Dan, you want to read it?
Sure. What are your thoughts on the new trailer for Resident Evil Village?
Hmm. So Black Shadow, you want to go first?
Yeah. Obviously we had our showcase for Village, which went not all that exceedingly long. I think all in all it was a bit on the functionary side, but I think it just kind of runs along with a lot of everything else we've seen for Village, be it from like the tech demo effectively from a couple months or so ago, and everything we've seen is that I think this game is looking really, really freaking good.
Yeah,
I try not to fall into the trap of hype, which is very easy to do. Like I don't really do too many games that are coming out instantly. But yeah, ultimately people say there's no smoke without fire. And I think there's a lot of encouragement be drawn from everything we've seen. It looks glorious. They've kind of picked and chosen sort of select gameplay aspects of previous series as well. You've obviously not some people are not going to be so keen on bits and pieces. Like I feel somewhat skeptical with the whole RE4 inventory system thing. Personally, I don't know why. Like it's fine because it's just weird seeing it again. But like everything looking pretty good. I think there's a lot of promise. The plots is interesting, definitely. There's plenty of characters as well, which I think is something Capcom are really trying to flesh out on, which is good to see. And yeah, there's plenty of promise to be had.
Anyone else want to go next?
It looked very neat. I was just gonna, follow up that very lovely description of the whole showcase with it was neat. I don't, yeah, it was a great. It was interesting to see a little bit more detail. I feel like there's a little bit more detail in like the character and like the background, like what we're going to be dealing with, the not just like the enemies, but the like the story and things like that. So from that aspect, I thought it was. I mean, yeah, it was perfectly good trailer.
I'm
Plus,
gonna.
they
Oh, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
No, you can go ahead.
They talked a lot about Ethan Winters in the trailer.
hmm
They
Yes,
really brought that home for me. It was I think that's who the game's going to be about. So
Yeah.
This is definitely something that Fabiano made a point of back in December. He says speculatively, I can't remember exact the date month when we had it, but he talked about it a lot with Ethan. The whole idea that with 7 he was kind of a bit more of a blank slate. Now it's his actual sort of second game. This whole idea of giving him much more fuller character, giving him a more defined plot, and more defined characteristics. And that's something obviously they're pushing, the fact that everyone knows his name and can't stop saying it.
yes, I did kind of get a lot of Van Helsing vibes from the trailer though. Like it just
yes, same. Yeah,
Oh wow!
Thank you,
that's-
Heisenberg, for that, by the way.
That's a good point.
yeah, like I think it's actually looking like that's gonna be a big factor, So it's kind of what I
Hmm.
took away from it.
You know,
What
I
I'm
actually. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, it's okay. What I'm excited about most is the fact that their Capcom is really leaning into the RE engine. Like this engine is beautiful,
Mm.
and they've showcased that in previous games. But to me personally, this is like the best I've seen the RE engine, and I haven't been able to play the game, unfortunately, the demo, because I don't have a PlayStation 4 or 5. But I am super excited to finally get my hands on this.
I mean, it's like the 4th game of the series that's been running the RV engine now, so it really should be looking pretty fucking good by this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
And then even to
Mhm,
say that the first title, with 7 and RE2, even they look fantastic, and those were early instances. Now they've had a chance to play around with it, refine it. Now they're getting the whole of the newer generation of consoles power behind it and really getting to exploit it. The lighting system looks fantastic. It's just everything looks really, really solid.
Just to
And
deviate
what
for a little bit, didn't they use RE Engine as well for Devil May Cry 5?
Yes, they
Yes,
did.
they did.
Okay. All right. Just want to make sure that I thought correct.
Yeah,
Yeah, it looks great. I mean, the trailer looks great. I'll be honest, I did a small trailer review. Everybody does it, right?
Mm.
And I did miss a whole bunch of little details that I'm very happy the, RE community actually, came together. Very small but like details that they explored upon. I mean, we had the ensemble of not just we got Alcina Dimitrescu, we had Heisenberg, we even had Mother Miranda in the background, we had the Moro, we had who else? I forgot. There was one more character in the back. Well, it was one of the other households. There was 4 of them. I forgot. Oh my gosh, it was on the tip of my tongue. But yeah, they had so
The
much
daughters?
information. What was that?
Was it the daughters? You mean?
No. It was one like when Heisenberg said like welcome, lichens and gentlemen, and you had Mother Miranda behind him. You
Oh,
had
yes. Okay.
Alcina
There
to
was
the
a
left.
lot going on in that shot, to be fair. It lasted about 5 halves of a second or something ridiculous.
Exactly.
It was like some
Exactly.
weird monster, like that was
Yeah,
like,
someone
beside
It
him.
was.
someone pointed that out actually, that there's some weird creature that looks like Jabba the Hutt mini if you really pay attention.
Mhm.
It's a lot of stuff that we definitely miss, but since like Black Shadow said, it happens like in a nanosecond, so you have to really be paying
Yeah.
attention.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I mean, but this is where they did it like a really good way. And for this trailer, is the fact that they gave us so much information, but yet there's so much mystery behind it still, it makes you really want to like kind of dig in and gets you more excited for the game, to be honest.
Mm.
Which is something they definitely wanted to do with the demo. Kind of just give you little tasters again, not give you too much. I mean, you could argue the whole how they actually do the demo, which we're going to talk about a little bit anyways. You know, the whole kind of idea of how they distribute and limiting of time, which is not to everyone's taste, but it does do its ultimate job of kind of giving little bits and then making people look and search the internet, and then that drives more interest. And it's social media. That's what it's all about.
Yep.
I mean, I want to really want to know more about Mother Miranda because I mean, even in the demo, like we got a very, very small snippet of her, right? And people were just praying to her for some reason. So I really want to delve into her, like, and see what's going on.
It kind of is like a cult-like experience. Like everyone worships this one character, so I think she's probably going to be actually the central antagonist of RE8.
I reckon I think it's a decent shout. She's the one that's going to constantly harass. Although in the grand scheme of things, there's perhaps more. There might be bigger people. I don't know. She might be. I'm unsure, but I think it's going to be pretty clear that she's going to be like, well, she was respected and she was fine, and then she's kind of been turned by all things going on and corrupted and whatever else. I'm sure it's going to be a pretty central theme to the plot. No question.
And just the dolls and the people that seem to worship this character a lot that was discovered in the background. It brings intrigue to the lore. It brings the fact, are these red herrings going to be true or false? And it makes you think a lot more about the game in question when trying to uncover the mystery and solve what's going on between these characters.
And I think that's the best part of Village right now because they're saying that they will be tying in some of the lore from the past RE games, and obviously Umbrella being showcased, and then the 4 different houses. So like, what is the connection between this game and the Umbrella Corporation? I mean, is Mother Miranda somehow connected to like Oswald E. Spencer? Like, how does this all correlate together? You get what I mean? And all this mystery. I mean, I can't wait. I'm very excited for it.
It's all going to boil down to we got to play the game to find out, because that is one of the things they talked about, where it's like, in order to find out what's going on with the previous Umbrella ties and them being in the village at first, we don't know what's going on there.
The one thing I will give is that even like in the concept of the series, this whole Umbrella tied to a village, even though Umbrella has been quote dead for over 20 years, it feels like it should be a more ridiculous concept of how can you keep tying Umbrella to these things than it actually is, which I think is pretty good credit to the game developers and these script writers for somehow managing to make things not be completely ridiculous in concept. Because it shouldn't make any sense, right? They've been dead forever. They're all dead. Wesker's dead. Alex is gone wherever the hell else. Like this, it's so ridiculous. Yeah, it doesn't feel like I can really criticize it, and like I'm interested to know what's going on, which is bizarre.
I mean, throughout the years, they've like kind of hinted here and there. I mean, for example, when RE4 came out, Krause mentioned Umbrella, right? And then we have RE5 came out, the little like the flower temple area. Remember, Chris showed like the Umbrella logo. So they are dead, but there's always this like in the background. You could always feel it, like there's something in the background, and you knew it might be like the Umbrella Corporation behind it, right? And it's never this like lingering thing of like, oh, they're just there for a quick second and that's it. No, because they constantly keep kind of reminding us that these guys are still present. I mean, hence RE7, Blue Umbrella. It's like, why do they keep coming back over and over? And that's the mystery right there. And I really want to know, and I hope that they do explain that in Village.
My last point to this is just everything that's past tense, they always tend to build more. I mean, even they had the fact that RE6, when Umbrella was long, like, just over with and evaporated, Wesker still went out to some random European village and conceived a child from there. So it's like, now we have this like in the background. So
not only that too, remember when Derek Simmons, when he finally died for the final time, right?
Yeah.
And his blood was like trickling down.
Final or the final.
Oh, final. But remember, like his blood was like going down like the temple-looking area, right? And then for some reason they made the Umbrella logo again, right? Just as the last shot. It just makes you think, like, okay, I mean, yeah, this company's supposed to be dead, but is it really though?
Yeah, that's the idea. It's its legacy. That's what they've been running on for like 10 years on the series, and to be fair, they've done pretty well at it. So
yes,
I'm not going to knock them.
Mm.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's like stale or anything. It actually it's a little bit more intriguing, right? You know, it makes you wonder why is this company so prevalent still, you know?
Hmm.
That's
I
a good point. Yeah.
I think it's just one of the things where it's like they don't get rid of it fully because they know that these were the original antagonists, and it's something that fans flock to. It's like they want to see more of this established lore. I think without Umbrella, it would be weird to set up. They tried this before, but it didn't have the same impact with Triso.
Hmm.
So there
Yeah.
always gonna be like some weird evil corporation in the background in Resident Evil, in my opinion.
And I feel like even more so now, people want to have stories like that really kind of, stick it to those corporations. Let's take them down.
Hmm.
And, you know, having been playing these games since like 1996, I never get tired of the Umbrella storyline and how
Hmm.
they're able to like have their hands in a little bit of everything, even in these remote villages.
Yeah, I mean, it almost feels like it's some type of like Illuminati, right? You know, like
Right.
all the
Yeah,
it's like,
basically the
is it
entire
are they
yeah.
it's scary? I mean, who knows? I mean, might be real, right?
Probably better we
Let's
don't think
let's
about
hope
that.
that
Knowing
doesn't
that
happen.
Truthfully on.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right, so I can guess so we can move on to question number two.
Yep.
So basically, it's just all about the demo. Like, has anyone here played the demo, seen the demo? Any impressions?
Seen it.
played it.
Played
Yeah,
it.
Seen it.
I've seen plenty of it,
I
skimmed various bits and pieces here and there.
Yeah, I watched a stream of it.
I mean, it's more of a demo than what we had with Maiden, which was basically an interactive tech demo. You know, you actually could do play around with some key mechanics of the game,
Mhm.
get introduced to a little bit of story going on, which is pretty good. It looks very nice. I've never been a big demo fan, really, personally. It's never really got to me too much, but I can. There's plenty enough to delve into. I'll get into the whole time thing a bit later on. We should just talk about gameplay now, but I think yeah, it's pretty solid, serviceable, and does its job pretty effectively in kind of giving people what they want a bit, but not really giving enough to kind of give away the game.
Right.
That's
Like
true. Yeah.
it's the yeah, it's just enough to kind of tickle you under your nose, like, come here. Because when I started playing it, I was just kind of wandering around, like, okay, yeah, it's like RE7 a little bit. But then like the further you go like down the path or up the hill, it's like, okay. You start wondering like when are the spooks coming, and then I start thinking about like what the hell what the hell does this village want with a baby and the lady and the whole what the fuck does Umbrella have anything to do with the little village, and all those questions build up, and I'm like, damn it, I can't wait to play this game.
Mhm.
Like it gets your brain going.
Not only that, oh, this me personally, like, what do you guys feel like just picking up the game and playing it really felt like a combination just like of the past RE games, but like very refined, you know. I picked it up instantly. I knew exactly the controls. I mean, and then the layout of like the item management. Shout outs to like RE4, right? You know, so that's gonna be great. I mean, and then fighting the enemies is great as well, like the lichen, werewolf, whatever guys want to call it. Like, and also like Agatha said that, I mean, it begs more questions. I mean, who is this old lady that just wandering around right outside the middle of the village, and somehow these lichens aren't attacking her, right? And who's Mother Miranda, who just strangles a guy randomly in the field? And what about the villagers? I mean, are they all dead, or is Elena still somehow alive? You know, so it was really good. It was a really good demo, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that for me, it just kind of sets the tone for what I think the game will be like. I think I kind of get the aesthetic of what it's going to be like, and I'm really feeling it.
Yeah.
So,
We've obviously got another one still to come with the castle segment,
Yep.
which I think will be probably a bit more interesting. I reckon the village is kind of is a bit sparse. When you break it down, there's not really that much to do. Mess around with a couple of puzzles, pick up a shotgun, shoot some dudes, watch a guy have an unfortunate end, and then everyone else has unfortunate ends because, of course, it's Resident Evil. But I think the cast will be a bit more interesting. I imagine we'll get a bit more of an idea for kind of more what's going on, what we're dealing with. I think it'll have a bit more relevance plot wise, and hopefully, I think it might have a bit more of a puzzle element as well, which I think is still important in RE games. There's still elements around of this kind of like environmental stuff of taking not just taking a puzzle piece to where it needs to go, but then obviously putting it correctly. And I hope we see a bit more of that in the castle. And I reckon we will.
So, having not been able to play it because I'm on PC, from watching it, the sense that I get is that I mean, Resident Evil has always felt cinematic. It's always felt like a George Romero film, at least in the urban areas in the earlier games. But what I am loving about this demo is that, to everyone else's point, it's that mystery, the suspense, you know, the feeling that you are completely out of your element in this village, that you have no idea, just being dropped right in the middle of it. And it just feels very cinematic, and that's what I especially love about what I'm seeing so far in the demo, is that cinematic vibe that it gives.
I totally agree. And did you guys think that? I mean, me personally, I didn't think that they would kill off like pretty much all the villagers so quick or early in the game. I seriously thought they're going to be playing a little bit more of a longer role, maybe,
There'll
or
be more. I imagine there'll be more. I mean, it's a bit
I
of
hope
shock
so.
value, which makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it's what they should do as well. It's not you don't very often get an opportunity in these sort of games to have like a reasonable cast of side characters, especially if you
Mhm.
go back a little bit with these RE games, because in the middle of an apocalypse and well, has gone off, and pretty much everyone's already dead. This is a chance that like actually kind of see some villagers, give them little bits of personality, maybe not too much, and obviously most of them are going to die. That's
Mhm.
that's kind of how it has to be. But I imagine there will be some other villagers that will come across and that will here and there, and hopefully someone that will kind of act as a bit of a side-ish companion. Because I think
Yeah.
generally needs something along those lines. Even if it's just kind of a bit here and there and everywhere sort of thing. But I imagine we'll hopefully see more of it, and I think we should do most definitely.
But actually, like Desmond actually mentioned, it's like it did feel cinematic, and actually that portion actually sets the tone for the game. I mean, you really do feel you're out of your element. You're in a crazy, mysterious area. You're pretty much on your own. You feel like an outsider. Even the villagers say you are an outsider, and then the fact that they're pretty much wiped out so early, it just makes you think like, holy moly, these guys who's been here, settled here for so long, and they're freaking out. What makes you the outsider, know any better? You get what I mean? So great tone setting, to be honest.
Exactly. That's what got me pulled into this demo watching it, having to see like a villager turn and like jumping on a wall and like screaming like, a crazy monster, and then all the fire and all that stuff happening. It was so suspenseful. I was genuinely shocked when, the one that we're kind of doing like a little mini escort mission with, that she actually falls to her death. I was not expecting that. And that was cool, and that's something that I'm always looking for, especially in like survival horror games and Resident Evil. Do the unexpected, even though we know that these side characters will most likely die. Do it in a way where you're just like, oh wow, I was not expecting you to do it right then, right now.
Yeah, there's build up to it.
And there's bags of it's just me mentioning the chat. There's bags of opportunities as well for DLC down the line, much like with the unseen footage or whatever the heck it was called. I forget now for RE7.
Band.
Yeah, banned footage. That's the word. Thank you. Of having that obviously with that stuff and giving an idea of what was going on sort of before the events of Seven and kind of
Ooh.
what was going on. There's plenty of scope to have something like that of maybe one or two people in village as hell is breaking loose and having seeing some eyes and sort of thing, and maybe even like maybe the lady that was featured in particular in the demo, maybe have her kind of how did she get into the house with the guy sort of thing. There's tons of scope for DLC, and I'm sure they will do some.
That would be a very, very good
Yeah.
DLC. Seeing like the before and after. Wow,
Yeah.
that's a great point, man. That is a very, very good point.
Yeah, it worked for Seven. I mean, with everything with the Bakers and what happened there, there's absolutely no reason not to do it, and I think it'd be as long as it's
Yeah.
done with a bit of care and attention, I think it'd be very very good.
Yeah, I mean, like not only that, the scope and this, because remember the Bakers was an isolated event within the household. This one's obviously within the village, right? I mean, there's going to be a lot more storytelling to be like told, and not only that, like explaining how like they were worshiping Mother Miranda before the craziness and how their reaction is afterwards.
Yeah, it feels like it'd be a bit of a missed opportunity for them not to do it. But then they didn't ever give Marvin his DLC in Remake 2 when he was crying out for it. So
Oh
I
man.
never know nowadays.
Okay, so I wanted to talk about my experience briefly, gameplay wise. I really enjoy Village a lot. It feels like an expansive version of Resident Evil 7, but better. Lots more stuff to do, lots more roaming around. It was cool seeing the Wolfmen, but I feel like they were more aggressive on hardcore than it was on normal. But it's cool fighting them and seeing how to take them down. And obviously, only the shotgun really was effective against that enemy. And I died last time for trying to knife them because I was a complete idiot. But I really did like what they had to offer. And honestly, them doing the last gen versions, because I played this on PS4, it was not that bad. Like, it ran like smoothly, at least for me. So I think wherever you're playing this, whether it's on next gen or last gen, you're probably gonna get a lot of mileage playing this game. And I really just enjoy like the enemy variety and how you had the villagers obviously having their own story arc. It adds a lot more to the game, and it really feels like a huge expansion to what they previously put up with RE7. So I cannot wait to see what more they have to offer. And obviously with the other families, it seems every area is going to be different.
I totally agree with you. Like you had like a lot of good points.
Yep.
Like,
I like what you said about the amount of enemies, like different types of enemies, because that's a thing for me. Like I like having different things to fight, you know. So this one does seem to have a lot of cool stuff.
I'll
Like cool.
put it to you like this, because we have like the molded in RE7, and then we have obviously the Wolfmen. They're no joke. Like, these Wolfmen are fast. They will I noticed that if they bite you in the back on the hardest difficulty, then you'll be close to dying. And it's a lot of other things that are going on with it, where the speed and the ferocious nature, it's really challenging, intense. So if you're looking to say like, well, I didn't like the enemies of 7, so am I gonna like 8? I would say the answer would be like, yes, you'll really enjoy like the newer enemies they have to offer in this game, because it's a lot more harder. And I don't know what's gonna happen. Obviously, we have like everyone's internet waifu, like Lady D, choking out the
Oh my
character right
gosh.
now. So we don't know how she's gonna function, and you have to take all those things into consideration.
True, yeah.
And
Also,
you know, I think remember in RE7 the biggest gripe was actually the variety of monsters. I mean, we had the mold, right? Different kinds of mold, but
that was
still
it.
the mold. Yeah, that was pretty much it. I mean, like you know, like I said, I mean, we got the Wolfmen. We got those guys with the cloaks inside the actual maiden prison, right? And
Yeah.
obviously you got the tall lady. We got the daughters. We got
There'll be
Heisenberg.
plenty more as well.
Yeah,
There's a lot of scope for what they can do with this.
It's even
definitely.
like bigger wolfmen and dog-like enemies, and like sort of amphibians floating about that we saw in the trailer. That was like a small glimpse. So I think you're going to be dealing with like a lot of underwater stuff and trying not to get
Ooh.
consumed by those enemies as well.
Ooh, that would be that's actually really good.
It really reminds me of RE4 in a sense, with the Del Lago monster that we fought with Leon, obviously. So it's just setting up the groundwork.
I think that's really like a good way to make the game more dynamic is just to have more monsters. Like I really like that part. So I'm
Variety,
looking
yeah.
forward to it.
I also want to
And
see more variety on weapons, like beyond just your typical gun or shotgun. Like
Absolutely.
I don't know what it would be, but like a chainsaw would be awesome. Not that they
Oh
wouldn't
man.
necessarily put
oh,
that in, but come on, a chainsaw would be awesome.
also, Ren, just a small point. Remember how you said you couldn't skip cutscenes in 7?
Yeah.
8 lets you do that now.
Yeah, it does. Like,
Whoa.
I just noticed that, like, if you press start, well, if you hold it rather, you are able to fully skip any cutscene in the game, and that is awesome. You don't have to sit there and listen to Jack Baker just drone on and kill the police officer in the garage. You can skip all that. So I'm really appreciative they put that in there. The only thing I don't like is the time limit. It's I
Yeah.
just don't want to be limited to 30 minutes and I want to explore and go around and search things, and it's like I have to speed run the demo and try to beat it as fast as possible because I'm gonna run out of time. They're doing this with the next demo as well, and they're doing this with the multi-platform demo, and it makes no sense to me. I don't get why they're limiting play here. I
Did for
think
RE2 as well.
yeah, they did it for RE2 and nobody liked it then, and for Remake 3, I think they didn't do it, and now they're going
No.
back.
Obviously, they got a
Yeah,
good
it's
enough
very
offer
interesting.
from Sony and would have said, "How will this much money do?" And they obviously said yes. I'm guessing is why. I mean, the whole 30-minute thing though is it's a bit of a trend, isn't it? Nowadays, it's not. Things have changed a lot from getting your old demo discs in the magazine and getting
Oh
sections of
man.
game to mess around, or in rare cases, the whole damn game. As long as you didn't turn off your console, you could go through the entire thing, which I may or may not have done a couple of times. But it is what it is. Again, it's all social media. That's what the people want to do. They want them to like kind of not really get a properly full experience of the demo, so people will want to look it up and find out what they may have missed. That's what it's all about, really. It's a social media campaign. At the end of the day, it's kind of obviously frustrating for gamers because you want to get your hands on it a bit more, and 30 minutes is not a lot because you do feel rushed. Like you don't really get, unless you kind of know what's going on, it's hard to do everything realistically. But unfortunately, that's just a bit of a symptom of where we are today, unfortunately.
And I also feel like they called it oh shit, what do they actually call it? Like the Village 8. It had
8 hours in Village.
Yes.
thank you. Yeah, the fancy title, 8 Hours of Village.
Ooh.
And like for each region giving it like, we're already limited to 30 minutes, right, to play with the demo. Just the one time and it's done. And then even limiting that to only 8 hours.
Mm.
I don't know, like I thought that was
This,
kind of
this is
weird
a good
and
point.
just like it seems like they've wanted to find some place to slap on the number 8 because this is Resident Evil 8, right? It's kind of shallow, just kind of okay, yeah, then
Yeah.
let's just how do we tie in the number 8? Let's just let them only play it like for like in the period of 8 hours.
It
Yeah,
should
like
Yeah.
it
Oh
should
man.
be noted that when the full 60-minute versions come out for both PS4, PS5, and then later on for everything else, like the demos will be open for about 5-6 days.
yes, true. Yeah, you're right. You're right. This is only early access. Yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot about that. But just like thinking, like, okay, whatever.
People
Like
don't
just
think about that. Yeah,
putting
you don't
number
think
8
about it.
somewhere.
You just think I get 8 hours to play that, and if I'm not around, I can't do it. That's what the interpretation is, and obviously it's not great. It's very
Right.
strange. The problem is it's also complicated doing it this way. Like, I mean, all I want to do with the the trailers and that is be told, okay, it's a demo. When's it going to be? And we have to be given 2 free screenshots of all these times for us to work out. Okay, we want. Let's go down the list. That one. Oh no, I'm not PS5. Okay, so it's not that one. Okay, skip that. Skip that.
Mhm.
Oh, I played here. Oh, I only get it in there. Okay, I'm not in that day. I've got I've got band
It's
practice or
confusing.
something, so I can't do that one either. So I've got to do that one. This is no good, everyone. This is not the way to conduct
Yeah.
demos and public relations. It doesn't work.
Honestly,
And
I think this is more like artificially controlling the hype and whatnot because it's not even on PC either, and they knew that people would just mod out the timer so they could explore that leisure because that happened with Resident Evil 2.
Yep.
Yeah, but
oh,
that's the way it goes. People will find ways around this, and this will happen. I mean, this doesn't shock me entirely.
Yeah,
And
they
that's
had like their hindsight all the way up because they're like, you know what? For the last demos for multi-platform, we're gonna release that last May 1st, and I'm like, oh my fucking god, I just wanna play more of this game, and you're sort of like preventing me from doing so. I understand it's a demo, but my god, man, it's so good playing it that after the first time you want to go back, but it's like you can't because all that time is wasted up.
I suppose we have to be careful here because, of course, we're talking from the viewpoint of a lot of us have probably already pre-ordered the game
Mm-hmm.
before this demo even come out. So you've got to look at the viewpoint of people who haven't really maybe played maybe much RE or aren't sure. Like if they've touched this for 30 minutes, assuming they've actually had access to do it, would they want to buy the game having played this or seen it? I mean, it makes a good case for buying it, but like on 30 minutes, it's not an easy sell. This is not going to be cheap to buy if you
Yes.
don't get this from the right place. So.
Yep. So anyone else? Any thoughts on the demo? Impressions?
There was that little hype and tribute to RE4 and their inventory system, right, with the suitcase. Um, did anyone else feel like it just seemed very like it seemed very small on the screen? Maybe I'm just used to
It
like
is
I'm very
usually
actual
like
sure
that.
that
RE4.
Senor Duke will be giving us some upgrades, just like the
Yeah.
original.
Yeah,
I'm
it
very
was
sure
like
they will.
that and
No. I
well.
like I mean the image of it.
Oh, visually. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah,
Yeah,
I looked at it.
it was
It
so
looked a
tiny in
bit.
the middle of the screen.
It looked a bit. It did look a bit. I don't know if I'd go as far as saying ugly, but it didn't look. It looked a bit strange. Like I thought it'd be a bit more full. You know, especially if people play on big screens nowadays. I suppose.
Yes,
So
exactly.
I
and the
thought that.
colors are muted. Yeah, there's
So
like no color to it either. So like,
yeah, like it wasn't the
Mhm.
most glorified, especially you think like the RE4 as well. Like the suitcase. There's a lot going on when you realistically. So yeah, I think you bring up a good point there. For that matter, I mean, obviously the eventual RE4 remake has its breadcrumbs and mittens all over the entire showcase, but we'll talk about that a little bit later on.
Oh shit!
Mhm.
I didn't. I see things like even as we speak on the stream. I didn't know you could barricade yourself inside like an interior. That's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
that's an event you could do.
What do you mean? I thought this was your gameplay. Of course it must have been. You
Mm.
must have just forgotten.
No, it. See, the thing about that is I had to go and find someone else's gameplay because my gameplay had the chat inside of it, and it's gonna be weird seeing like two chats at once. But
I
Yeah,
understand.
good point.
but I do have the Carfax on my page. You have seen me like play this if you were like on stream last night. So the only thing I just remember is that I was getting savagely eaten by a werewolf and the demo cut off. So I'm like, that's one way to end it.
You
Yeah,
almost
which is
got you almost got
Yeah.
you almost
is how
got
it
beaten in
should
the
be.
head by
Yeah,
a werewolf, and then
they
the timer saved you.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
I mean that's gone.
it's just so good in terms of like random events happening, and I think if it keeps this up, like this pace and this tension, it has the ability to be like one of the best horror games of the year.
Yeah.
I think given the amount of hype and there's been a lot of publicity for this game, I think if it doesn't live up to that sort of billing, I think some questions have got to be asked as to why it hasn't happened.
Yeah, this
And not
on
just not in particularly enjoying the style of gameplay, because like I think this has the potential to appeal way beyond the usual scope. There is so much I think that to be enjoyed out of this. If it doesn't live up to expectations when it comes out, it's going to need serious questions have got to be asked as to why. I don't think they're gonna need to be asked, but I'm a little bit worried if it doesn't deliver like really really huge. But I'm pretty confident.
I mean, honestly, this shaping out to be the best RE to date. So like,
Yep.
Capcom's really putting all the cards on this game.
All right, so are we done with question number
Mhm.
2?
Actually, Ren,
Yeah.
before we move on, we should have Brandon introduce himself to the panel.
Hello, Brandon. You're late.
Yep, I did give a warning, so yeah.
Yeah, he did.
That is true. I'm just like screwing with you.
Oh, hey, you magnificent bastards! I am your resident lichen in Motor Brandel, and yeah, I'm here. So let's get started again.
Yay.
Brandon, I guess maybe you can rapid fire like question number 1 since you just got here. Your thoughts on it, like the trailer.
The trailer was actually really damn good. I really enjoyed
Yeah.
it. But did you guys know that his character name was Ethan Winters? Because I sure as hell
Yeah.
didn't.
We actually made
Yeah,
a
it
joke of
was.
that.
I brought
They
that
may
up.
have said that a couple of times also in RE7.
Yeah, thanks, Ethan. I mean, yeah, sure, okay.
Fleshing out
But
your character. Thank you, Fabiano.
yeah, but yeah, the trailer actually was pretty nice. I wish it was a tad bit longer though, but no, I guess a long trailer would do that for us.
Yep.
All right, let's go. Number 3.
All right, number 3. Who wants to read number 3? I can do it. All right, so Capcom just revealed a new rendition of the Mercenaries, which will take prominence as the post-game content for Resident Evil Village. How do you feel about the implementation of this game mode? Um,
Only took 9 years.
it's
Uh,
pretty much
Resident Evil
like
Yeah,
3.
Resident Evil
it
3
looks great.
remake. Fuck you. That's what they pretty much said.
I figured this is going to be pretty divisive because, of course, the problem is it's been so long since we've actually last had it released for a game, and they figured that they would obviously tweak with the concept of it. And I knew this was probably going to upset some people who don't feel that needs any tweaking at all because they think back to the glory days of 4 and 5 and 6, though I wasn't around for them, unfortunately, and they were very, very good. I will defend Capcom and say that I think simply the fact that this is a first person game and not a third person game, I think kind of forces you to have to tweak with it because it's very difficult to deliver the same kind of experience, I think, with Mercenaries as it is in a third person game. And Capcom, as we've seen over the years, especially recently, are more than happy to try and look at some recent trends in gaming and think, we'll have a piece.
Some things make sense, like killing the enemies and automatically getting the time, as opposed to like, oh, just doing a random quick time event and doing head counters, all that stuff. I get it because there's like not QTEs in this game to that fashion like RE6 and RE5. But at the same time, there are some changes where it's like they have the little shop now, and that's different. So you can cycle between items before actually going back into combat. I
You
don't
can
think
get buffs
you
as
can
well.
get buffs. You can get all
It's
this cool
almost
stuff.
like a wave-based sort of system, isn't it? Really, I nearly said wave-based shooter, which I don't think is fair to say, but it's kind of got that feel to it. They've kind of definitely taken some elements of sort of more wave-styled sort of games, and kind of
So,
incorporated it.
to the technicality, like raid mode, because raid mode does have like at least segments that come in waves of
Yeah,
an
that's a good
enemy.
shout.
Hmm. It's interesting. Like I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna completely crap on it because it's new. Like sometimes something new can be different, and I had this question in my head like forever now. People who were complaining about reverse, like, are you going to accept this where there's post game content and there's actually, mercenaries being played offline, or are you going to play reverse where most of the viewership died off and not a lot of people are playing it? It's like you got to pick and choose.
To at least give Capcom a little credit here, though. Unlike, okay, I can't hate bringing this game up. Unlike Resident Evil 3, they actually trying to give us extra content post game, right? Because we finally got Mercenaries again after what was it, 9 years?
9 years. Yeah,
now,
RE6 was the last one. It was 9 years.
so
Just
with
crazy. to think.
RE8, we're getting content on top of content along with something that's free, air quotes. So at least we have options to enjoy ourselves here. Unlike the previous title, we didn't have that per se.
Yeah,
Nope.
they had a bit of it in two with Ghost Survivors, but yeah, this is like they're making an effort, I think, to kind of flesh this out a little more, which is good to see.
I think
Um,
it's more like a trend of the mainline games, or at least the bigger titles, will get more stuff with it. Unlike, let's say, the remakes, because the remakes, for this purpose though, may be mainline though, but not their. Okay, we got to put all our eggs in the basket with this one type of
and
deal.
they have to. I mean, you look at Resident Evil 7 and the scope of DLC and post game content that game had. Just a buffet of
Hmm.
all types of gaming you could consider, from puzzlers to crazy shooters to games to just basic bonus story. And just kind of watching like a novel unfold before you. It's a
Yeah, I
massive, massive bar to try and carry. They have to try with Village. Like, if it'd be a crime for them not to try.
Mm-hmm. What was that, Desmond? You were talking?
no, it's fine.
Okay.
Okay, I'm all for it, to be honest, for the Mercenaries, and I enjoyed the gameplay way back then too. I remember playing it on, Resident Evil 4 and playing as Krauser with an insta kill, right? My okay, this is just a little bit my concern, and I feel like Resident Evil is really like it's come back. I mean, a lot of people were kind of like downing it down during like 6 years ago when people were saying it's starting to die down, right? Because it was leading more to the action oriented genre, and now we're going back to actual true survival horror. I mean, a lot of people are on board with it, but then they're implementing a little bit more action based, multiplayers like reverse and all that. I mean, I'm all for this, but I just hope that, the main DLCs isn't centered just with the mercenaries. I really do hope, like, someone said that, they do like with like the same thing like they did with RE7, where they had a plethora of different like, genres. We had like one more puzzle solving, no weapons used. One is like, you're in like a literal saw game, right? It just
Mm.
I want that kind of variety and for kind of different players, but always kind of lean more to the horror aspect of it. You know what I mean? Because in essence, really, to be honest, Resident Evil is a survival horror game. It's not supposed to be an action oriented kind of Call of Duty slash, Dead Spacey kind of game. I know there's kind of like that middle ground right there, right? But
Mm.
I that's just my point of view. But I mean, I'm all for it. For extra content, go for it. I mean, you know, like you can't go wrong.
Yeah, I think to say that the devs aren't trying is at best ignorant, and at worst, I mean, I won't satisfy that assumption. But yeah, they're definitely giving it a spin. They're trying things. I mean, RE7 itself was just such a grand experiment. It wasn't everyone's liking because you can't please everyone. Game is a subjective medium. That's how it will always be.
Mhm.
Yeah, by all intents and purposes, 7 felt like a huge technical demo because of like all the flaws, like technical flaws, not just the game itself, that were present in 7, were not in the next couple of games. Like skipping cutscenes, that was a huge problem. Now you could do that on every corner in 8.
Yeah, there,
So
there was
like,
there was little micro things here and there. I mean, I still think 7, like on the whole, delivered a very very satisfying experience, all things considered.
I definitely agree. I definitely agree.
But yeah,
And you
there's
know what?
lots of micro problems
Since
here.
we are on like the topic of you guys said like Resident Evil 7 would be kind of like the demo for the upcoming several games. What if Resident Evil Village is literally just a huge demo for Resident Evil 4?
Oh,
I mean, think
I
about
already
it.
said
I
this.
Well,
mean, they
I
have the
already
I,
said
assets for
this.
it.
it's a bit of a love letter, this game, to RE4. That's
Yeah.
obviously very clear. It's been clear for a while. This is a bit of a love letter to RE4 remake, and
Yeah.
it's there is a lot of shrewd marketing going on again with the whole showcase at large. It's just little bits of RE4 remake here and there, but not even mentioning it in name. Just like Ashley's father, the president, just so happens to be the president for Infinite Darkness, and
Oh yeah.
the whole Dead by Daylight stuff. There's just little bits here and there of just little mentions of, and just to keep our on the back of people's mind. So when it gets announced in like a year or so or whenever, people will be like, "Ah, yeah, there. I knew it was coming. I was the clever one." When they were telling you the whole time, they just weren't being open about it.
Well, I mean, they are doing a yearly Resident Evil now. I mean, I assume so. Correct, with different developers.
Probably.
Supposedly they are saying that Dev One, the developers of RE2 Remake, is working on RE4, air quotes. Uh, and they supposedly delayed that game, so we don't know what's gonna happen with that, but we'll see down the line. I do think that they will definitely try to squeeze out another RE game or have some type of announcement like sometime next year. But it remains to be seen. Overall, I would say at least, they're still providing a lot of content with survival horror. It's still like relatively a lot of content that they're still developing, or they have to obviously make new IPs because assholes like EA will not give up Dead Space. So it's a lot that is taken into consideration with that one.
Mhm.
Yeah,
All right.
for me, it's like with the whole mercenaries mode. I liked it in like the OG games. I thought it was fun. But that was like never my primary focus for any Resident Evil. It's always been the story and what Umbrella's up to. Like everyone else has mentioned, I think it's cool that they're doing it, and that they're bringing it back after so long. But it's not quite like at the top of my list.
That's understandable. I mean,
It's fair.
if people are hardcore mercenaries players and they're worried about changes, it's understandable if it's not good, but if it is good and if most people like it and if it's like post game content, I can't really complain about getting more in return. You're paying $60 anyway, so I feel like you should get more in return outside of just like the elongated plot, but that's still good too. Like a game that's like, almost 20 hours or something bigger than RE7. It's very promising.
I guess to jump in on this mercenary stuff. Basically, I agree with Desmond. Like, I think that I don't play the game for mercenaries, but I'm kind of hyped that they're bringing it back. Um, it would be really cool for me if there was like a co-op for it though in this one.
I think that's what
Yeah,
everyone's
yeah, that'd be pretty
saying.
cool.
It's not going to be. It's just not going to happen because that's what
Yeah, I
reverse
don't
will.
think so
Reverse
either.
is the multiplayer part of the game. It won't happen for
Exactly.
mercenaries.
Yeah.
It's not going to do that. Unfortunately.
Logically speaking, I feel like if they did put in co-op, that would bury Reverse like instantly. Like I just
Like,
don't see many people playing it.
What if you had Ethan and Lady D take down the werewolves?
No,
I'm
I
just
have a
saying.
feeling that that would turn into a porn parody. A porn
Oh, God.
parody.
I mean, Ethan Winters
Why
is
not have
a
Lady D go through the events of Resident Evil? Why not get Lady D to go back through the events in Louisiana and take on Jack
Oh
Baker?
gosh.
She
Oh,
would, she
dude.
would win instantly. That's cheating.
Here's the thing:
Adam,
is
you're strong.
Ethan Winters is a pornography name. You got to admit, like,
Oh my
Wait.
gosh.
Okay, we're going
Oh
off
my
deep.
god.
Alright.
It's almost like a Dirk Diggler.
yes.
Dirt.
You never heard of Dirk Diggler from Boogie Nights? You need to watch more
No.
movies.
I've seen
Yeah.
that movie, yeah, and it's definitely an experience. I'll say that much.
You know what? I don't want to give any spoilers away. We're not linking anything, but this game is rated mature, and I think it's mature for a reason. But yeah, co-op would be so sick for Mercenaries. I would personally, I would be more hyped if that was like up front
And
as a
Yeah,
part of
I
it.
to
agree though.
your point, what you were saying about like the whole co-op, maybe depending on how well this does, in Resident Evil Village, if people really take to it and they're like, yeah, this could be cool. Maybe they will introduce co-op. That would be awesome. I'd be
Here's
so
one
game
little
for that.
conundrum though. Like, how you gonna show Ethan's face when it was in a co-op? Because remember, his face is not shown at all at any promotional material. So by introducing co-op though, they gotta do something to where they gotta black out his face.
They could just give him like a Mia mask or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Mia mask. Holy
Oh my god.
Or you could turn it into something where it's like this big reveal for the
Ooh.
next game where it's like finally the face reveal of Ethan Winters. Like there's always been that thing on YouTube where like I never show my face and it's like a big deal when someone who's just a voiceless person shows their face. Turn it into a thing.
Or I guess they can
Alright,
like put
alright.
a can of meat on his face and go with that. I mean,
Alright, hold on. So I just
I
realized
like
something.
it.
Like, we're talking about co-op, right though, but we don't know if they have other characters outside of Ethan.
That's true. I mean, there is Rose. There's Baby. We know
Baby
that
But
Rose.
much.
baby's not gonna go into his mercenary.
you know what? That would be my game of the year if I could throw a baby at like a werewolf, dude.
Oh no, don't do that.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Game of the
Why,
year.
yeah. Why
Just
How did
stop
we get to
there?
this
Werewolf
topic?
babies.
We're talking about porn and we're talking about babies, throwing babies at werewolves.
No,
What in the world,
come
guys?
on.
No, this is
Yo.
high quality content right here.
Oh my
I mean,
goodness
This is what
gracious.
people come here to watch. This is what people come here to
Oh
watch.
Do
man.
it for the people, man.
Look, Rose is gonna be fine. Gonna be fine.
An invincible baby.
Like, give her the same armor like Ashley from Resident Evil 4. She'll be fine.
Are we looking from the perspective of the actual baby? Because she'll be looking up the whole time. You know,
Yes.
everybody will pretty much be Lady D compared to her. Just high.
You know what I say? Give the baby a gun. That'll work.
No.
Oh man,
Just
here we
a
go.
tiny one.
Let's get back on topic. Good
Yeah, let's
God.
get back on topic. We didn't.
Like a
All right.
9mm isn't gonna hurt. That's
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh,
Tis
you know
but
what?
a
Okay.
Millimeters not
fraction.
gonna hurt.
All right,
Oh,
since we are
Jesus.
still on the topic of the mercenaries, you guys remembered in Resident Evil 4's, right? What was that? There was that one map with a guy with a double chainsaw. What was his name? Doctor
Super Salvador.
Super
yeah,
Salvador.
yeah. What if this? I hope they do something like that with this mercenaries, like a super Lycan or something like that, right?
oh yeah.
There was like in the trailer for Mercenaries, there was like a Lycan with like a drill instead of a
Lycan with a drill.
chainsaw.
Oh wow. Okay.
like a
Good.
high-powered drill instead of a chainsaw. So he's gonna be that one.
You know, like what if like each, I don't know how many maps they'll do, but let's say if they have different maps for the different houses. So like the Leica map, like you mentioned, like this one has like the drill. What if like for the castle, the mercenaries, we have Lady D as the main baddie, right? You know, chasing after you. So I really do hope they go that route.
Yeah, hopefully more stages than just like the village section would be nice.
Yes, yes.
I do want to say real quick, like we've talked about how it's a survival. They're trying to bring it back to more of a survival than an action game. And I do think it would be cool to be able to craft some new weapons and things like that. I wonder if they're going to introduce that into this one more.
I kind of doubt it, considering that the shop merchant is back. Because in the last game, you could technically do that, find the parts of weapons and put them together. In this case,
Hmm.
though, unless they have attachments, I don't think so. Because that would kind of defeat the purpose of the shop, really.
True, true. It would be cool though.
It would be, like, but also the whole like, upgrading your character. I'm pretty interested in that. I love me some RPG elements. So, the more, what do you call it? The currency, lay or lie?
Lay, I
The
think it is.
Like,
Like,
yeah.
lay. Yeah, the more stuff, like the more currency you have, the better. So, and then obviously you upgrade yourself. I think we saw in the trailer, it's like you take the less damage if obviously when attacked, or increase your health. I mean, I think those little RPG elements is pretty good.
Actually, since we're talking about the money, there's also you can find treasure in the demo that you can sell for money. So that's another little tidbit from RE4 as well.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that. Where
Yep.
Like I
was
said, it's a
what was
love
that?
letter. It's a love letter.
Oh, okay. I probably missed that.
Okay, so
Did you guys figure out? Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say we need to actually move on to the Infinite Darkness trailer
Mhm.
Yep.
because we're getting
Oh,
close
okay.
to the guest caller segment.
All right, sounds good.
All right, so Infinite Darkness, they showed a new trailer. What do you guys think about it if you saw it?
Well, we know they said it's set 2 years after Resident Evil 4, like somebody else mentioned earlier. We know Ashley's dad, obviously, is the president. So, and now it's gonna be in the White House. So, a kind of similar premise to the campaign from RE6. I get that vibe, with Leon's campaign and Helena.
yeah,
Yep.
once again, zombies kicked in and started wrecking
Mhm.
shit. Like, god damn.
Exactly. It seems very similar to that. Though, I mean, obviously this one's working in the White House, and from the information we know so far with the true White House, right? Like there's lots of like secret corridors for like the president, right? And they might even delve into like the underground, secret tunnels, but then there's zombies, monsters there too. So Infinite Darkness was what else? Great to see Claire back again. Leon and Claire working together. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, since Leon is back, do you think that Ada will come back? Who knows?
Honestly,
Very
Season
if
2.
Leon's there, Ada's gonna come at some
Yep.
point.
Yeah.
Oh
It's,
man.
it's
Or what
inevitable.
about Ashley? Is Ashley gonna make a
Yes,
cameo?
Yeah,
like,
I mean, it was
ballistics.
She'll have to.
heavily
Ballistics.
inferred that she will be making a cameo. You don't
Oh,
say
okay.
that it happens to be Ashley's president, our dad, the president, happens to be the president for that if Ashley's not turning up at some point. She will be in it again as more seeds for Resident Evil Remake 4 in the following year, whenever else. 100% she's turning up. Like I'd bet a mortgage that she turns up.
As long as
Don't
she's
quote me
not
on that.
yelling Leon every 5
Oh
minutes, I'm
Oh
good
gosh.
with
God,
that.
no.
No,
Leon,
no,
Leon,
no.
hey,
No.
It's
Leon.
going into
no.
RE4 anyways. I'm sure that when that comes out, they're gonna not have her go into that trend as much at all. I imagine they will. Like there'll be some mention. There might be a bit of a goofy reference or two or something or another, but like she's definitely gonna make a cameo. You know, it's been a couple of years. I'm sure she's grown up. She's gotten tough, quote unquote.
Oh man. I
She
mean,
better know how to use a weapon, otherwise she's going in the garbage can.
oh no.
Yeah.
Jeez. Oh
Back in
man.
you go.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right
she
back in the
did.
garbage.
You remember, like when we did use her, like for that small segment in RE4. I mean, she did throw those lamps a little bit, right? I mean, I'm
Well,
sure
I mean
she could.
that was the only
She
thing.
threw some lamps. She threw some wood at Leon when he first turned up.
Oh
Go,
my god.
Ashley.
Oh man. I think I
Give
think
me an
they'll make a better
A.
character
Give
for
me
her.
an S.
Oh jeez.
I kind of feel like somebody had mentioned earlier that there's kind of a Resident Evil revival going on right now. Everybody's really excited for the new games. And I feel like this show is kind of fan service, and I'm okay with that.
Huh?
Yeah.
I'm that
Same
fan.
here.
Yeah. We got the show, we got the movie, and we have Village, man. Like Resident Evil fans are eating good this year. Like
Time
Yeah.
really good.
It
time to
feels
pull
What's
up
it?
the
a
cord,
little
Ramsey.
weird. So I was gonna say, it feels
What's
a little weird seeing Nick kind of obviously voicing Leon, which makes sense. Obviously, he's the invoice for Leon, but it feels a
Yeah.
little weird seeing him. And like I do like unabashedly, miss Alison Court 100% because I thought she was perfect for a role. But it's a bit weird seeing like the voice actors for what we have now for something that's set in 2006. I don't know, it feels a bit jarry to me. I'm not quite over that yet. I suppose I'll get there in over
Do you
time.
think they sound too young for their age?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, ultimately,
Yeah.
there's an 8-year difference, and it's the same voice actors. Like that's kind of difficult, especially in the case of Claire. Like that one definitely felt a little more jarring to me. But I think Infinite Darkness is looking very good, and I'll be looking forward to watching that.
Did they
Speaking of
say how many
Claire,
episodes they will have for Infinite
No.
Darkness?
No,
No,
they
No.
didn't.
there's
No.
been no news of anything like that at the moment.
Oh, okay. I
Okay,
mean,
no,
overall, I mean, I assume it's probably gonna be like at least 8 episodes. So I
okay,
hope
you
so
know
at least.
though, my beef with Infinite Darkness right now is that they keep showing trailers though, but showing nothing at the same time.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, just
Like we know it exists
act,
though, but
just
give us
darkness,
something.
literally.
Maybe
Yeah,
I'm thinking maybe the episodes will be tiny or bingeable depending on the situation, because if they're not showing that much, then maybe it's a lot of like plot related context that we're not seeing. But it is true that like usually you see Leon's fighting zombies. Okay, we saw that before. Or Claire's like in a spooky house. It is like setting up something, but where that leaves, the trailer really doesn't convey it that much.
what I'm liking about it the most right now is like honestly, it's the fan service. Like as soon as I see Claire and her red jacket, I'm like, oh, I'm in. Like
Yeah,
my girl
it's an easy
Claire is
sort of
there,
Absolutely.
boy.
I'm totally in. And the other thing that what I got from the trailer is I'm just getting that vibe. I'm getting the vibe of like, all right, these are two characters, Leon and Claire, who've already gone through the events of Resident Evil 2. These characters have grown, gone through a lot, and changed, and they're not those kids from before that are like out of their element. These are two people who have seen some serious stuff, and I really like seeing them like this, especially like coming to Netflix. And again, like it's been mentioned earlier, the resurgence of the love for Resident Evil. I'm eating it up. I don't care who the voice actors are. I don't care about any of that. Just give me more Resident Evil.
I
Yeah.
mean, something I've said many times, and I always say, Resident Evil, to an extent, lives on its own nostalgia of like its past and its history and everything that comes with that. And it makes perfect sense. If you're gonna have Claire, of course you're gonna have with her own little tropes, and Leon with his little tropes, and this that going on, and there's gonna be references to things that happened. With Resident Evil 4 and things that are going to be happening soon. Maybe there's going to be a little tease, like something that led into Resident Evil 5. I don't know. I mean, I am biased because you like the the developers had me at Claire Redfield, so maybe I'm at fault here, but like it makes perfect sense. Why would you not do that? It's what the series has always done. It's been doing this for 20 years.
I just hope that this opens the floodgates for more seasons, because, I mean, this will be the perfect opportunity to say, what is Jill doing at this specific point in time, like way after this happens or that happens? What is these other characters doing, like maybe Billy or Rebecca? And that would be great for like a show in terms of like just trying to get that out there, as opposed to like maybe like a large scale like CGI movie, and you're gonna have like either
oh,
Leon or
so like
Chris. Hmm?
so like an
Yeah.
anthology type show.
Yeah, something like that.
That's the sense that I'm getting, is that they're working on building a larger universe, and why not start with honestly the two most well-known and probably most well-liked characters in the franchise, Leon and Claire, with especially with the Resident Evil 2 remake still being relatively fresh on everyone's mind. I
On
can
top of that,
totally see them being able to like
ooh,
expand on this, get into, like you mentioned earlier, characters like Jill. It's really exciting to see what they're going to be able to do, especially on a platform like Netflix.
Yeah, it's an opportunity to have a series that has a story, that has a history, and take it to a quote wider audience unquote. It does come with some risks, you know. For like someone who doesn't, he's not a video game, might look at it and like see Resident Evil. It has name value, Resident Evil. Like people can see it that don't really game and think, oh, I know cannibalize. That's about all those zombies and stuff. That can potentially come with its own stigma as well of people wondering what it's doing on Netflix. But it has a definite chance to try and on the first episode especially, it's got to be. There's a real chance to kind of really spread the wings of this and perhaps carve a little piece out in itself on Netflix, and I hope it does.
All right, so go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Because you, Ren, mentioned that you have like a little beef with the trailer or Infinite Darkness in general. The first thing that popped in my head and kind of grinds my gears. I mean, probably just across the franchise, I understand it's a normal thing. Claire is always wearing red, correct?
Yeah.
And I know like this is in the midst of the timeline, but I'm just kind of like, don't these people wear anything different?
No.
But that was a cute snarky comment towards like there is that moment where she brings attention to, that's probably why I noticed, she brought attention to the fact that they have their specific outfits, because she's wearing exactly the same jacket from 2, right? And then she makes the comment at Leon that that doesn't suit, that his outfit doesn't suit him.
Yeah.
So I
Stuff
was
like
kind of
that.
like,
Yeah, it's little things, and it's nice to see as someone who, if you've played the series a lot, like it's nice to see that kind of thing. But if you're not very well versed to it, like you can kind of read between the lines anyway. So
right, yeah.
I thought it was funny because I mean, Leon's wearing a suit and he's an agent, so it got me thinking of like James Bond. Like, I think that would perfectly suit him actually. But it's it's those small little things and those character moments that are going to be really important, and if they display that well, then I think the main thing people are going to want is definitely more. And that's what I think about it right now. The story beats and everything is like very minor, but like I said, I do want to see if the show is going to flesh itself out in terms of like later episodes and see what happens there.
Do you guys think that they're gonna make Leon go into like a John Wick mode again? Like what we saw
Oh, most definitely. We saw it in the trailer
it's
too.
Leon, it's
Yep.
literal. Like this is
Yes, please.
with
Yes, please.
gratuitous as well.
Yeah, he dropped like 2 zombies before it cut off really quickly, and I'm like, yeah, this is gonna happen again, action pack for sure. But I don't mind that honestly. It makes it look cool when it's like transition over from game to actual like content like animation. Is everyone else done with this question before we move to the last one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, I don't care about this one that much. However, that being said, it is funny. They showed off Resident Evil 4 for another VR system that I'm not really familiar with. And honestly, what isn't Resident Evil 4 on? Like, at this point, you should be able to play like Resident Evil 4 on your microwave. And that's it.
Yeah.
That'll
I
be
think
hilarious.
it'd still be a better experience than Resident Evil 6.
Yeah. Oh man.
I actually don't think RE6 is that bad. I just thought, I knew you'd get a reaction. I'm sorry.
Well, there's one system that Resident Evil 4 is not on, the original Xbox. There's
Oh.
that.
I actually reckon I have a couple people I know who actually do have VR and they got wind of it and they thought it was really cool. I think it's a really nice idea.
Wait, why
Again, it's
Resident Evil
more
4?
kind of like, preluding to the remake soon, and it's gonna be. I actually think it's gonna be a first person style, much like we've got here with Village. I have a hunch that's how they're gonna do it.
I
It
kind
just
of
feels-
doubt it actually, because with Resident Evil 2 and 3, no, that was not first person. So I doubt they will like just force 4.
I mean,
to
this
be
is
first-
also true. I
first
mean, I
person.
wouldn't be surprised they do it first person. It could go either way. It's very possible. But even so, like, there's obviously dropping seeds for that. But I actually think, just in itself, like, I actually think it looks not bad. For a game that first came out, what, like 15 years ago now? Longer?
Yeah.
And they're still getting legs out of it. Like, fair play.
Oh man.
I
Which console did you
recently
guys
played
play
that on my
RE4?
Switch, and it's still great.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think I actually think we're not too bad. I think there's a lot of people who have VR is something that gaming's expanding into more and more as we go. I think a lot of people will give it a spin. It might not be something that people get immediately, but it's one of those games that like it goes on sale and people think, "Yeah, this could be pretty good," and they'll have a delve into it. It's as it's mentioned as well. Yeah, like it's kind of there's a bit of Gun Survivor to it as well. It's the same sort of idea. But like even just looking at it, like I thought it would look really, really bad, but it's not too shabby. Although maybe it's because I've seen that crazy like was it that port from like Argentina or something like that? I know it's mentioned on one of these podcasts before.
You're
Where
talking
they
about Resident Evil 4 on the Zebo.
Zebo, that's the one. Thank you. I've seen that, so maybe like in the scale of 1 to horrendous, of one being one horrendous being horrendous, it's a certain this looks okay. So
So from from PC to Zebo, how bad can this be?
I'd say I don't know, like a GameCube. I'd say like a GameCube.
I
Oh
give
my
it GameCube.
god.
I give it a GameCube out of PC.
Yeah, if that's good or bad or not is up to the viewers to decide. No, I
I
think it'd
did
be
kind of have a
Hmm?
I let go of I let go of my button as I was saying, "Sorry, go ahead." So I cut off my kindness at the same time. But did you want to finish what you were saying? I'm sorry.
No, I'm really yeah. I think it'll be good. I think it'll be a nice blast. I haven't really ever delved into VR myself, but I can easily see people delving into it and think, "Yeah, this is a good little experience." They're probably going to have the whole campaign as like step for step as it was previously because it's a long game. I know. I've just freaking base handgun run the game. That was brutal. But yeah, I imagine they'll have most of it. A bit of castle, a bit of there'd be some really good bits. Like can you imagine like doing the Krauser fight, for example, in VR?
Oh my
Like,
God.
god.
that should actually be pretty cool. So I
Oh,
think
that would make it a joke because no, the knife is his weakness.
well,
Assuming
yeah,
if they
but they'll
keep
change it.
balancing.
Obviously, they're gonna make it's gonna be something they're gonna change. Like you have to fight him hand to hand. That's what they're gonna do. Stuff like that. I think it'd be really cool.
I'll smack him. Like, let's go.
Upside the head.
Exactly.
Just
It is a
boxing.
shame it's only via Oculus. Something that is indeed true, and I would wish it to be a bit more available on more systems, but I don't really know how this VR sort of thing works. It's sort of integrated software. I don't know. It's not my area, so
hmm I did have, or I was kind of wondering to myself, I kind of had a theory. But before I even say that, how, okay, so there have been like rumors for, it feels like a couple of years already, that they are going to remake RE4. Um, is that still like true to some level, or is that like, has that been remotely confirmed, or is that all still rumor?
so much speculation. There's
I think
so much
yeah.
Okay,
speculation and apparent leaks, and I heard this from my friend who read this on the internet. You
right?
know,
Yeah,
Capcom on the whole are being pretty stum, which is wise of them to do so. They don't need to say much about it. The internet is busy whittling off tales of this, that, and the other for them. They don't need to do a damn thing. They can just sit back and just watch.
right. Um, okay, so confirming that it only has been rumor so far, I had a theory. Don't cry. But
I'm bracing.
um, what if this VR release is like the replacement for a remake? What if they don't remake it and it's just this VR thing?
No.
Oh man, no, don't do
Now,
that.
Capcom would be
No.
really
I mean, I'm
stupid
knocking
to
on
do
wood.
that.
I'm knocking on wood, I swear. But
That's a
I was worried, like, oh shit, what if this is like the wonderfully rumored
April Fools was 2 weeks ago,
remake, and it's,
so
Oh my god.
it'd be horrible. So hopefully it's not that.
no, definitely not.
yeah.
It's not a replacement. I speculated that with like when I was watching it with some people, and like I was so immediately shot down. It's like, look, I'm not being that serious, and they were just like, no, don't even think about
If Capcom does
this.
that,
Like,
if
yeah.
Capcom does that, I'm taking a wiffle bat to somebody's knees, like somebody going down.
That's polite.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
wiffle bit.
I don't know. Personally, I feel like VR, like for whatever reason, VR makes me sick.
Mm.
So I'm just not a part of that fan base. But I guess
Yeah,
I
you're
could
not
see
the only
how it.
one.
Oh, you feel that way too?
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I was just saying like it seems like the coolest thing ever, and I wish I could be a part of that community where I could jump into VR games, but I don't know why, but they just make me sick. But
I'm
if
just
you
poor.
can
I'm just poor.
if you can do it, if you got an Oculus, like go for it. I mean, I think it would be a fun experience personally, but that's just my 2 cents on it. I could not watch somebody play it in VR though. No.
All right, I think it is time to do this guest caller segment.
Brace
Yep.
yourselves.
All right, let me see.
Ooh.
This is a first. This is experimental. What we're going to do is like in server guest calls. We're going to give them like 10 minutes or less to describe their opinion on the Resident Evil 8 information, and then we'll go from there. I'm going to call in Andre and see if he picks up, and then we'll go to the next person.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then they can ask
Sound
us like any questions or add on to the discussion, and then
Yep.
we'll get the next person.
Ask
there you go.
our expert
Yo.
panel of opinionated men and women.
Mhm.
What is up, guys? How you guys doing?
Howdy.
Glad to be
Pretty
doing
good.
this guest caller thing, but I'll go real quick how I feel about Resident Evil 8. I played the demo last night. I really enjoyed it quite a bit. I barely fought anything. Like, no lie, I fought maybe one enemy in the entire demo and killed it. And funny thing is, like, it's kind of funny because then, like, you have to go, where you have to save Leonardo, or at least you have to escort him to the house because he
Yep.
got injured. I, I kind of expected him to turn into a Lycan. He basically attacks you. I didn't expect that, and like, it was a pretty cool sequence. Demo was really easy. Like, I got through it on my first go. One thing I've noticed about Ethan is he's a lot more emotive. Like, he actually talks a lot more in cutscenes. He's questioning things and asking like what's going on, stuff like that. I really like that touch to his character because like I think in 7 they wanted to give Ethan they made Ethan a blank slate because they just didn't know what to do with his character. Then Village was like, let's give Ethan a daughter. Let's have Chris abduct that daughter and go from there. And he really talks a lot more, which is good to hear. Like, yeah. Overall, let's see what else. I'm really looking forward to Infinite Darkness. I'm really happy Nick and Stephanie came back. Definitely looking forward to that one.
What do you make of sort of Ethan then sort of is interacting with like obviously the villagers and all that, of which there looks like there's going to be quite a lot of them. Some that like him and certainly some who really don't seem to like him very much at all.
That's a good question. Actually, BlackRock.
Shadow.
What was it? Black Shadow. Oh my god.
Another one.
Never changes.
It's funny because like the characters in Village look a lot more interesting because 7 really didn't have a lot of other characters. Like maybe it was that one cop dude, but then he gets like yeeted by Jack Baker, and I was like, all he had really to talk to was Zoe. But like, I guess throughout the story, he's gonna meet a lot of different other characters, and especially besides IED and Heisenberg, he's definitely gonna meet more of the villagers and definitely more of the families because I know they said the Duke is going to. I think as you go through the story, you're going to learn more about him. So that is going to be really interesting how that works. And I think one thing I also that did kind of catch that I sort of took note of was it's kind of weird that Heisenberg is related to Lady D because I sort of didn't expect that to be the case. Because when she said little brother, I was like, wait, they're related? Unless I don't know, unless Heisenberg he doesn't have the vampire powers, but I don't know, he probably like can mutate into a werewolf, but we'll probably see what happens when the game comes out.
Yeah, Ethan definitely sounds like a lot more emotional and tense in this. I thought it was funny when he was ranting about not being able to save anyone. However, I can't be mad at it because it's more character development.
Oh yeah, definitely. And one thing I did notice, actually, another thing is for the voice actors, yeah, apparently, if I'm pretty sure if you guys don't know, but Jeff Sheen is Chris and RE3 Nikolai is Heisenberg. Because when I heard Heisenberg talk, I heard a little bit of Nikolai without like his Russian accent. So I'm guessing they're reusing actors from 3, which is fine because they're really good. So seeing them tackle like other characters in this game is kind of a good thing. I know they did say that Lady D's actress supposedly is Alex from Revelations 2, but I don't know. It's kind of a wait and see deal.
I don't believe any
No, that's
theories.
that's been
The
deconfirmed a long
Neil
time
Newborn, by the
ago.
way,
Yeah.
for an
Okay,
absolute
yeah.
great job.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm not believing any theories, any crackpot theories until I actually see it in the game and it's canon. People saying that Piers is coming back and all that stuff, nah.
Nah, that's a huge reach. I don't know, cause like I try to avoid theories. Cause I want to experience the whole game on my own without having any like leaks or spoilers to it, or just crackpot theories. Cause I think I remember saying that Ethan was gonna mutate, which I doubt it's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen to Ethan in the game. Maybe he'll live, maybe he'll die. We'll see.
What do you think about some like Infinite Darkness or some of the other stuff or the Dead by Daylight stuff? Any thoughts on any of that?
Let's see. I think I did talk about the Infinite Darkness, but I did say in the chat that it would be interesting if Sherry appears because by then I think Sherry would be a young adult by that point in time because Sherry was I want to say 11 or 12 in RE2 and she'd be at least 19 to 20 by then. So it would really be cool, and I also think showing Chris and Joe like what happened before, like events of who was it, Lost in Nightmares and RE5. So yeah, I would definitely like to see also maybe them mention I don't know Rebecca.
Yeah, I think during that time, Sherry's like still in government custody. She does not get released until after Wesker dies. I still assume she's probably going to be in training by this point, though. So that would be cool to see.
Oh yeah, definitely. I wouldn't mind that because I like when you guys said it was gonna have multiple seasons. Yeah, they could potentially go the route of Castlevania. Like who knows, season 2 could we could focus on like Chris and Jill and Sherry, or who knows, maybe make an entirely new original character. But because Resident Evil is a huge franchise where basically they can like introduce any character and like flesh them out and give them their own backstory because of how long the series has been around.
Any more questions you got, Andre, since you got like 3 more minutes?
Yep.
Oh no, actually, no. I think I said what I wanted to say, but yeah, thank you for having me on it, even though it was for like 10 minutes. But yeah, do you want me to do my outro?
Yeah, do your outro,
yeah.
and then we'll get James.
Yep.
All right. You can find me at Twitter, Andre B Venom. I'm pretty sure you guys are aware of. I retweet a lot of art and stuff like that. But yeah, it was definitely a pleasure, and yeah, it was awesome, man. I'm definitely enjoyed being a guest call. Hopefully, I can do more of these in the future with you guys. But yeah, take care.
No worries, man. You take care. Thank you very much.
dude.
See you, dude.
Awesome.
See you, man.
Bye.
Thanks for coming by.
Goodbye.
Get out. I mean, hey.
Damn.
Ouch.
Oh my God. The
All-
boot.
All right, we're
No,
gonna
brings up a
get.
good point actually with Sherry.
But-
It makes a perfect logical sense because outside of RE2, she basically never turns up until RE6. She just suddenly she's there.
Yeah.
They've kind of since kind of tried to throw her in a little bit here and there, but yeah, actually, it's a really good opportunity to kind of throw her in as like a bit of a side character.
Ashley and Sherry.
So yeah, I think and obviously Claire running because Claire obviously has obviously relations with as well and all that sort of thing. So yeah, that's actually a good point actually.
Hey,
Oh,
Brendan.
you know what though?
Brenda, remember
What's up?
the original RE6 rumor where people thought that the blonde lady, the blonde girl with Jake was going to be Sherry? I mean, not Sherry, Ashley, yeah.
Yeah, I thought so
Oh, really?
too. Not gonna lie, I was actually convinced that was Ashley, and then it came out with Sherry. I'm like, holy shit, she grown.
Yeah, it was weird, but that would have been kind of cool, but they just didn't. So it's still cool that it's Sherry, but I thought it was going to be Ashley as well at first.
But okay, like hear me out though. Like imagine if Sherry and Ashley like somehow like knew each other, like because Ashley is older than Sherry, right? So imagine
Mm.
she was like the older sister type thing, because obviously at some point she would have to know that Sherry was under White House custody, right?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
I think that would be a nice dynamic to not only bring back Sherry though, but make Ashley useful.
Yeah. All right, we are going to bring in the second guest caller, Mr. Devil Hunter James, and see if he picks up.
The Liking Hunter.
Like Henry.
I'm gonna tell him I'm calling him in.
Oh, there he goes.
Okay,
There
he's
he
in.
is.
Good.
Hello.
Good.
Howdy.
Hello, sir. You are on air, and we were talking about the whole Resident Evil showcase and all the stuff that happened like recently. So we're giving people 10 minutes to sort of give their opinion out and ask any questions if need be.
So we're just going down the list, right? Or at least in my case.
Well, whatever you
There
fancy.
you go.
Yeah,
Whatever you want, man.
whatever you want.
Whatever you fancy.
Yeah.
TLDR if you have to.
All right, I'll just go down the list.
It's not
Makes it
big mess or
easier.
anything. Go for it.
I assume everybody knows the Umbrella logo was like the first thing they showed in the trailer. So I was like, oh, here we go again with Umbrella, gonna be messing up something.
Yeah, it was
Never
like then
changes, does
the
it?
first trailer, so like nothing new.
I missed the first trailer, so the second one, I finally saw that. Uh, did they explain anything with Heisenberg other than that? Lady D is his brother or whatever, or sister or whatever.
Other than he still thinks it's Bloodborne, not really.
Yeah, seen
Bloodborne
that.
Hunter.
This is kind of going into the demo a bit, so it's kind of diverging, but I noticed you can kind of save survivors. I don't know if they're going to make that an actual mechanic or it's just
Ooh.
story driven.
I didn't see
Oh
that.
yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, because in the demo, I played it, Dom played it. We were like, okay, so what if you can like optionally save people? Will they give you ammo or a special item or something?
Typically in the case, I don't know if they're gonna do it just like this mini game, but Operation
Yeah.
Mad Jackal was like where you can save survivors in that game mode and they would give you like ammo parts or guns or stuff like that. It could be like a risk reward system because maybe there's like more monsters in the area if you try to save them, or if you want to let them die, then that could be a thing as well. So that'd be like pretty cool if they did that.
Yeah, it could be an interesting way to like up the difficulty.
What else you felt about the demo, James?
I thought it was interesting. They let us see the transformation between humans and lichens with the old dude.
Oh yeah. I remember it, like the dude that got like bucked by the shotgun.
Yep.
You're surprised as everyone is obviously the lady that's with something, you're thinking, oh, he's just gonna get out of here, go adventuring, and then not just dies, kind of a bit out of nowhere. I thought it was.
Yeah, like I
Mhm.
thought she was gonna be like an important character though, because you see her in trailers multiple times, and like she just dies in the demo. Like, oh shit, there goes my expectation right there. I'm
Yeah.
kind of disappointed about that, admittedly.
That kind of got me thinking about the survivor thing. I'm like, okay, they made her look important, but then she just dies. So I'm like, can this happen with other characters you meet?
You think
So
Ethan's
most
gonna have,
likely,
you think
'cause
Ethan's
it's
gonna have any
story-driven.
kind of semi-permanent kind of person he runs it around now and again that isn't trying to kill him?
Yeah,
aside from fat
pretty
ass,
much.
maybe, hopefully.
I mean, we got what looked like the Dead Factory towards the end of it. I call it the Dead Factory only because of Resident Evil 3, but it kind of reminds me of that. So I have a funny feeling that might be like the end of the game. Because you know how Resident Evil is. They have the creepy wherever you are, and then it ends up in a lab. Usually.
This tends to be how it ends, either in a lab and something self-destructs. That's pretty standard.
Yeah.
I've been doing that for 25 years.
And a rocket launcher too, by the way.
Yeah,
And
rocket launchers,
Pretty
so-
much.
And a helicopter at the end. Someone escapes on a helicopter.
Helicopter.
Yeah.
Someone escapes, the tyrant
Into the
dies at the end.
sunset.
The usual fanfare.
Yep.
We wouldn't have it any other way, would we?
It's a good
Um,
formula.
yeah, it's been working.
Any thoughts about the trailer so far that you saw at the end, James?
Chris and whoever the special forces guy that's with them was they give us another little tease of Chris, so I thought that was cool. They're still obviously not going to tell us why he's here or what his objective is, so that's going to be the fun part.
Oh,
You think maybe he's the reason that Rose went a wandering, perhaps?
Could be.
That is true. We didn't bring that up earlier, but yeah.
No, we didn't mention Chris, admittedly. No, we did miss this. He turns up, not really doing much, just kind of being there, and Ethan being pretty upset, which makes sense. I would be very upset.
That's a
But
good
it
point.
makes sense, this whole idea of trying, he's kind of this gray area you don't know. They don't want you to know. They want you to just purely guess. Is he a bad guy? Is he not? I mean, he's not going to be by the end of it, but I suspect he's done some pretty shady stuff. I mean, he
I feel
shot Mia to death, so that's generally not a good sign.
yeah. I
No
can't
loss.
tell. Oh, what's up?
I said no loss was loss with Mia. It's okay.
Wow, wow, you must
Ye-
have really hated that tanker segment.
You sure you're not talking about Zoe?
Admittedly, that was the slowest part of RE7, but yeah.
Yeah, the
No,
tanker
dude,
was
she
slow.
cut off my arm, man. Fuck that.
Oh,
That
that
was
is true.
like it was a bad starting point in the relationship, I will admit.
Oh my god.
Then I had a boss
Not my
fight with
first
her.
move I would have made. Anyways, we're getting horrendously off topic.
Yeah. I guess I should talk more about the demo. Man, the controls are way better. Is this unanimous opinion here? Compared
Mostly,
to
yeah.
7, I feel like they really made the controls just way faster.
Looks
I
very
know, it's about the
smooth.
same
Looks
to
very
me,
smooth.
just a little faster. Not much different.
Also, James, you can skip cutscenes now. You don't have to wait around.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, don't get Dom started on that shit. He was all about that. He was like, finally, I have to watch the same cutscene 6 times. Yeah, I don't know. I just because I finished 7 about a month ago, and I went to the demo. I'm like, wow, this is a lot better. Just I don't know. 7 feels very sluggish now if I get to compare between them. So I'm glad they took that into consideration.
So you've got
Um,
very, very high hopes for this then. Very high hopes.
Much higher than the previous game. Not that the previous game is bad, but they definitely were getting their feet wet with this whole first person thing.
It needed some work, and 8 is proving to fix a lot of problems that 7 had.
I said this before. Usually when it comes to a gameplay formula, you have to kind of deal with the sort of like past bearings and how it was before they move to the sequel and improve it. Like obviously RE2 is a better game than RE1, and there's some
Right.
quality of life improvements for sure.
Yeah, that's why I always
Yeah.
compare this to RE1. Like, the sequel greatly improves on its predecessor. Heck, even like in case like RE4 and 5, like 5 has some better quality of life changes than 4 did, but people won't acknowledge that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you gotta walk before you can run. That's pretty much how 7 to 8 is, at least to me.
James, any thoughts on Mercenaries?
I'm
Oh.
hyped. I fucking love Mercenaries. It's probably one of the best side modes they ever did for Resident Evil, period. The fact that you can upgrade and like change your loadout and do all that's a much needed improvement.
Get buffs while you're fighting too.
Yeah, that
Agreed.
too. That's gonna be interesting. Are they temporary? Like, do we know, or we have no idea?
I think it's per
I
area.
imagine it'll be temporary, yeah, for the section sort of thing. I mean, we mentioned earlier we suspected that maybe not everyone's a big fan of the fact they kind of change up Mercenaries. They've been waiting so long, and then they get it. They're like, wait, this isn't what I remember. But I'm in agreement. I think the changes have been made that are subtle enough. They're not huge differences. I think they're very much needed.
I feel like people don't think about it. It's like, look, we had Operation Mad Jackals. That's technically the first sort of style of mercs.
99, 2000 now?
99, yeah.
9.
Four changed it up again.
That was the big
and
change.
It's kind of stuck that way all the way through to 6.
Mhm.
So I kind of feel like it makes sense that after like 4 iterations of Mercenaries, they'd have to do something a little different for it.
After 9 years of no mercenaries, they changed it and they brought it back.
The only thing I know it's not going to happen, but I wish is co-op. I don't know who the other character would be, but I have a feeling they're
It's
gonna.
not gonna be Mercs. It's not.
Yeah,
gonna
it's
be.
not going to be there.
This is the way it's because obviously it's going to be reversed. But that shouldn't be a huge downer. That shouldn't like disenfranchise people from playing Mercy. It's still going to be very fun and enjoyable. I'm very sure.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's like, damn it, I couldn't let me eat my cake too.
Any final thoughts on Resident Evil Infinite Darkness, James?
I noticed Nick has been really refining his voice for Leon. Like, he sounds a lot different compared to his RE2 impression. Partially because Leon's older.
Yes, it's like 8 years in between the two time periods, which is a long time.
Didn't they also say it was just a little after Resident Evil 4, like canonically?
2 years.
Yeah,
2 years.
yeah,
2 years.
2 years.
2 years after.
Okay, so yeah, it's not long at all. And Claire looks as good as she always does.
Yeah, I'm
I will never
biased.
understand
I'm
how-
biased, so I will not comment. I don't need to.
I will never understand how people call RE2 Remake Clear ugly, but yeah, that's another topic.
She
for
looks
I mean,
like
it's
Infinite
not.
Darkness to me.
To
I
be
mean, it's
fair,
not
it's like
Revelations 2.
seeing her in Infinite Dark reminds me a lot more of her kind of her original design to me, a little bit more than sort of with Remake 2. I don't know if that's an opinion that's shared at all. Like it feels like it's much more of a callback to sort of that the earlier games in a way. But I don't know. That might just be me. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, by the way, either. But not at all.
And then RE on VR, and I think James will be finished after he gives thoughts on that.
Yep. It's the meme that keeps on going. RE4 is on everything, and Capcom will find a way to make you buy it.
It's a dead horse that's unbeatable.
Fair play to them.
I don't mind it. I'm not really a VR person, so it's not really my thing. But hey, people that love VR, now they have a real game to look forward to here.
Yep.
All right,
And
and
that's about it. I'm just super anticipating it, so I hope it's as good as it looks.
all right,
Alright, outro
Mr.
yourself.
James, outro yourself, sir.
You can find me on Twitter at DevHunterJames and Twitch at the same link.
Awesome. So we're gonna
Yeah.
get another guest in here. That was James. Thank you for contributing, sir. We need to do this often. Like we can get people to give their opinion and be able to, rapid fire or be a permanent panel. That will be fine.
Yeah, guest system seems like it's a pretty good idea so far.
Yeah, it's working pretty well.
All right, so we're gonna let you go, and we're gonna get the next guest caller in.
See ya, folks.
See you, dude.
See
See you
ya.
later.
See?
All right, let's get Enderlucian. Add him, and then he has 10 minutes, and I think we'll be good. We'll be wrapping up after him. Hey, how's it going, Enderlucian?
Hey, Ender.
Can you hear us, sir?
Oh no.
I think he's dead. Like a
Oh,
zombie.
no. Discord did it again. Oh, never mind.
He's
I was muted.
Oh.
Okay.
All right.
So,
So we're gonna give you
Good.
like 10 minutes to sort of like go through
Alright.
what you felt about the showcase.
okay. So, thoughts on the new trailer? It's really hyping me up for Village. When I keep watching it, it's uncovered new things we didn't know in the past. And yeah, that's all I can say about the new trailer.
How you feel
And
about
with-
the?
So you play 7 at all? Out of curiosity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've Platinum 7.
So
I've
how do you
played all
feel this is
7.
kind of like building upon everything that 7 kind of I suppose started with and experimented with, and now they're kind of refining it for Village?
I feel like it's much better when it comes to that. Ethan, his voice acting, I can really tell, really developed with that, as you saw in the demo.
Did you
and-
play the demo, sir?
Yeah, I played the demo. I think I heard you guys talking about that it was the PlayStation, like the last gen version, but I noticed that ray tracing was in the settings for the PS5 version. So I noticed that, so that might be similar to the final product that we get.
Like in the version you've played, like because I have not played the PS5 version, is there any other differences that you want to sort of point out for PS5?
Honestly, I couldn't point anything out other than it just looks so good. Because I didn't really look at everything because there was a timer,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, unfortunately.
I did like that they added the photo mode though.
Yeah, that's another good thing.
The question
But-
is now, with the photo mode, will you still be able to see Ethan's face or not? Because it's gonna be a little bit
So-
weird.
So I think with that, I went in on it and you can't see Ethan at all. You can see nothing.
Oh
Ethan.
man.
So it's literally just a headless body again.
It's just nothing. He's just totally invisible.
What?
He has a head. It's just you can't. The face is blanked out in certain scenarios.
In the
in Resident Evil
photo mode?
7. No, in Resident
Oh,
Evil 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I went on the photo mode, I was getting bitten by a werewolf and I saw nothing of Ethan. So
I like how they gave us a photo mode, but you only have 30 minutes in a demo. Like,
Yeah, it's not really enough time to play around with it, is it?
yeah, I don't think you can
No.
like actually move around like in other photo modes, where you just you pause it right here. You can only just have that for photo mode. But I like that the combat's improved as well. You can kick enemies back. That'll be really helpful.
Mhm.
And with the trauma pack that was revealed, that has a max difficulty that you're getting. So I'm curious to see what that does.
Oh,
with
the
the
It's an
DLC.
extended-
early
Yeah,
unlock
yes.
because you're gonna unlock it in the game anyway, like Madhouse. You can buy it to unlock it early. Just
Yeah,
go through that mode.
you could probably
But yeah,
unlock it maybe, or
Yeah, that's
buy
Yeah,
it
you can.
you
for
play for it
$1.
normally. It's just if you buy the deluxe version, you can have
Yeah,
the
it just
hardship
says
available straight away, which
it
is
says max difficulty. So I was just curious about maybe there's cassette tapes or something like similar to 7.
Yeah, because that's pretty much similar to Madhouse. I assume it's gonna arrange the enemies the same way, or maybe do some shenanigans that are completely different compared to the other difficulties. The new difficulty is called Village of Shadows, I believe.
Village of
Whoa.
Shadows.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So yeah,
Very interesting.
but yeah,
So yeah, I was just curious about that.
yeah. I'll leave aside my thoughts on. I think it's a questionable business practice to be doing it, but it is what it is, I suppose.
Okay, next is Mercenaries, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
So I think that it's really good they're bringing back Mercenaries back. It's not the same at all, like basically because it's first person. You can talk to the Duke, you can upgrade everything. But I'm really hyped for it.
Mhm.
So we'll just have to see what's in store with that. I'm glad that's also another game mode we can play in Village. So they've really been doing that. I just hope there's the variety, as mentioned earlier, as we got with 7 within DLC.
Oh, I
So I'm
mean,
just
there
hoping for
has to
that.
be, right? I mean, some of that DLC was fantastic.
Maybe some
It
extra story
well,
DLCs.
Jack's 55th birthday version 2, Lady D's 55th birthday. I can get
Oh
behind.
god.
man, she's
Imagine that one.
way past that age though. But how would that turn out?
I mean, I'd be curious, but I would be absolutely petrified to ask.
Long
Good. That's a
ago
good
in a
question, actually.
distant
Yeah,
time.
Mercenaries is going to be at the gate
Shut
or
up,
look
Prince.
behind completion of the story. It's a good question, actually. I reckon it might well be completion of the story.
Yeah, so really excited to see that back. Last time we had that was 2012.
Yep, 9 years.
Yep,
It's felt good.
long 9 years. Next, Infinite Darkness.
Mhm.
So I'm a huge fan of RE4. I'm glad we're gonna see Ashley's dad, the president.
Mhm.
So I'm glad that's gonna happen.
Ashley's dad, but not Ashley.
Yeah, maybe Ashley. I don't know. We'll have to see. That's coming out in July, they said. So really hyped for that. Though we did, as mentioned before, there wasn't much revealed about that. So
Nope.
No.
Just
They're
the
being
We'll
trailer.
keeping
just-
very strum on Infinite Darkness. Probably for the best, actually.
yeah, I don't know if they'll show anymore. I think that might be it.
I imagine they'll do maybe it's like one more little teaser, maybe like late June, maybe really early July, just something maybe a couple weeks before.
Honestly,
But
yeah, because there's no numbered date. They just
no,
said July.
I imagine they'll do something. Yeah, and then that's when they'll announce the actual full when it's actually going to be coming out. I would
Yeah.
make sense to me, I'd reckon.
Yeah, so we'll just have to wait on that, find out and see what's coming up.
Mhm.
And finally, there's the Dead by Daylight teaser. I knew it was coming.
Oh,
I
I
made a
forgot
joke
about that.
about it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Can
It's
we
long
can we
overdue, I
discuss?
reckon. It is long. There is an irony that finally everyone's going to get their Silent Hill Resident Evil crossover they've always wanted, except it's in the realms of Dead by Daylight. But,
Well, it's probably the closest we're getting.
yeah, you're never getting any closer than that. It's long overdue. Long overdue. I haven't played Dead by Daylight for a while, but it makes plausible sense. So
The review for that is May 25th.
yes. So the question, of course, is who's your survivor and who's your killer? I've got
I-
theories.
Oh, what are your theories?
Wesker.
I think you could have potentially so many people, especially like survivors, especially. I like Heisenberg feels like a decent actual shout as a potential
What?
killer.
Hold on.
I reckon.
Going
said,
by the
"Hold on."
lore. Wait, hold on. Going by the lore of Dead by Daylight, the person, the killer in question is either be deceased or pulled in by the entity that controls them, and the survivor is the same case.
Mhm.
So theoretically speaking, though, the characters that are dead in Resident Evil, though, those guys could be the killer. So in other words, Wesker could come in and actually be the killer.
It could, like, you could throw a lot of names. I think that's one of the strengths of Resident Evil is you could throw a lot of names at both sides, and you can't really say they're wrong. Like, I'm just saying, I would absolutely love to see freaking Jack Baker turn up.
Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah,
that'd
Jack
be
Like
Baker as
kind of
well.
as the
silly.
killer, I think that would be amazing.
Yes.
Obviously that he's kind of a bit of a face anyways of Reverse, especially. So I think him turning up maybe as the killer, I think would be absolutely amazing. Can you imagine being chased by that madman across the map?
He'd be like the best hillbilly killer.
He's an amazing man. He did such an amazing job. So, and I think he'd be great. He's got the weapon, the double chainsaw thing. So he's got that going for him. Like I think he seems like a really good shout. I can see Heisenberg. I think someone suggested Baker to me a couple days ago. I'm like, how did I not think of this?
And then there's
But
also
survivors. There's like, where do you start? Jill, Claire, Leon, Chris,
Well,
freaking
that or
Leon. There's so many people you could guess. So many.
that or offshoots like freaking the characters from Outbreak or the characters
Yeah, you
from
could have that. You could have
Resistance.
Ethan if you wanted. Like, you could have so many different
Oh
people.
yeah, Faces Ethan.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's going to be Ethan.
Faceless Ethan.
I think it'd be Ethan. My guess, if I had to put money, would be Jack Baker and Ethan. But like, you could have so many people potentially, which is to the series credits and strength, to be honest.
Can you
Either that
imagine?
or what?
Can you imagine Nemesis just running at you? You think they might do
Ooh.
that?
See,
Yeah.
I thought that as well, but it doesn't. To me, it doesn't really fit.
Yeah, it wouldn't
something
fit
like
it.
that. Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense. How do you work that in? Like, they made
Uh,
Pyramid Head kind of work, I guess. Although to me, it's still pretty jarring.
Honestly though, that will make him a more unique killer within Dead by Daylight because he would be probably the one or few characters that could actually run because characters could teleport as well. So running is not that realm of possibility.
No, admittedly not. But I'd be surprised. I don't know. Like, again, it goes to show that you can go for a lot of answers, and no one can really say you're completely wrong, which I think adds to the mystery a little bit. But I
Yeah,
think it's
indeed.
long overdue. Dead by Daylight is such a success story, and how that has grown over
Smash
the years.
Bros of fucking horror games,
Yeah,
dude.
it's
Yeah,
amazing.
pretty
It
much.
is absolutely astonishing the growth of that game and the popularity that it has built over the years. They've had all these crossovers, and it's about bloody time that Resident Evil got involved. How they've not yet, I don't have a clue.
If they don't do like a Resident Evil Cross Silent Hill trailer just for funsies, I'm gonna be so disappointed. That would be so great. Just as a game, that possibility would be so fucking fantastic.
I picture Jet May just being a complete lunatic in Mara and Heather just walking up, just like, "What are you doing?"
A man can dream. A man can dream.
I
Yep.
say we'll find out. We'll find out in a few weeks or so. But like, I haven't played Dead by Daylight. I don't think months, but I might well give it a spin just to depends who they announce a little bit. But I think it should be good. And maps as well. Like, these always come with a map or two from like the series they've come from. I mean, like, there's so many.
That would be a lot of
Raccoon
fun.
City.
Yeah.
All right, Enderlucian, whenever you can, you have to do your outro because we have to go soon.
Okay.
Yep.
So you can find me on Twitter at Enderlucian. Same with Twitch. And I'm also on YouTube, Enderlucian. So to thank everybody for having me on as a guest.
No worries, man.
And
Oh,
yeah,
no problem.
hopefully we can do this in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some more.
Definitely.
Catch
Definitely.
you later, man. Take care, yourselves.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
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 All right, no more guest callers, Ren?
Yep, that is it for tonight.
Are you sure?
Is the end.
I am positive I asked like 2 times and I'm like it was just those 3, but if it's something in the future where like maybe people's friends or whatever, because I don't want like complete randoms out of the street of the RA Pierce town. I want to keep it between friends. So if we
Well,
manage
People's
to
reputations in this server will be on the line. So
Yeah,
Yes.
Ren doesn't want Hobo Joe running amok in the call.
Hobo Joe. Okay. But yeah, I think in server calling and maybe people with their own fans, if they want to call in and they have Discords, I might try to arrange it where my Discord is on the screen and they can sort of send me a friend request if you people know them.
We'll work it out.
Yeah, we'll work it out. So we're gonna sign out and do our outros here with the panel. Who is going first? I guess Dan, you can outro yourself, sir.
All right. You can find me mostly on Twitter at the Dirty Dan _. I talk about survival horror, fighting games, retweet art, animal videos, like. So yeah.
All right, Brendan, since you spoke while I was doing that.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Immortal Brando, Twitch at Sir Brando. Everywhere else is none of your goddamn business.
Indian givers, porn videos. He's probably on that.
You fucking motherfucker.
I didn't do nothing.
Uh-huh.
All right, next up is Mr. Black Shadow.
Yep, you can find me on YouTube, Black Shadow 993. Also doing the occasional Twitch stream here and there at Black_Shadow_993 because someone got to name before me, which makes me very cross every single time I stream. But it is what it is.
Hey Deva, what's your outro, sir?
All right. Just want to say thank you guys, and I'm primarily YouTube again, and so it's Hey Deva, HeyDevuh, Hey Deva. I do have an Instagram and on Twitter. But my following isn't as big as in YouTube. But you guys could find me there on Instagram as Hey Deva or on Twitter HDEVUH.
Agatha, outro yourself, kind lady.
Kindly or
I said kind. I said kind
aggressively.
lady. Aggressively. That works too.
I am Agatha. I am on Twitch. No, I'm totally kidding. Yeah, so Zelda and Resident Evil content on Twitch. At I don't even really know how to pronounce it. Like with the way
It's your channel.
spelled funny. Yeah, I'm Agatha, but it's spelled AAAGATHA. I'm also on Twitter, which is also the same with you, Black Shadow. Someone stole my name. So it's Agatka1, AAGATKA1. So yeah.
What are
that's
the
where you'll
odds
find me.
of someone stealing your name like that?
I hate when that happens
It's
so
weird,
much.
right?
Like to the exact name, just stealing it. I'm like, I had that situation happen before on PSN.
The internet is the worst place.
Yeah.
Great. Why are we even here?
Dirty
Torment men,
Daniel.
apparently.
Dirty Daniel. Outro yourself, good sir.
Didn't I just do that?
Oh.
No, you didn't. No, you did not. Answer yourself.
I did.
What was your Twitter again? Yeah, just do it. What was your Twitter again? Since you posted it.
Yeah, that is my Twitter.
Oh, okay. Just say it out loud for the audience.
Professionalism. I
guess. But yeah, you can find me here on Twitter at the Dirty Dan _. This is where I am most of the time, here in Discord as well.
All right, Desmond Flicks, outro yourself, good sir.
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube, Desmond's Flicks, for any horror content and cult film reviews. And you can also find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Desmond's Flicks. Thanks for having me.
No problem. And last but not least, well, before we outro myself, we have Menstruating Jesus. I had to read that out loud. I had to read it out loud.
The best Discord name. The best one.
Thank you. It's been voted top 3 for some time now. No. But thank you so much, guys, for having me join you tonight. It's been a lot of fun. And again, I'm on Twitch. If you ever want to check out my streams, I do a lot of horror games, Trashed Queen. And if you don't mind going on Spotify, check out Daddy Home Podcast. Me and a fellow comedian host a show every single week, and it's a lot of fun. So thanks again for having me.
Sure thing.
All right, and now I'm gonna outro myself. So you can find me on Twitter at @Operative_. You can find me on YouTube at Renegade Operative. I will be putting out content on the podcast channel because we recently played MK9 over the past week. That was also fun. along with this podcast, I'm going to be working on it. People in the chat, you can post your socials, so if you want to get more acquainted between the panel, you can definitely do that. And I think this was a fun podcast. We're definitely going to do more guest callers in the future, and we're definitely going to do more RE content when Village comes out. There will be a podcast reviewing the game. That's going to be sometime in August, I believe, and look forward to that. So we are signing out, and once again, take care out there in podcast land. See ya.
TDFNs.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.